If I can just keep it tight around here. Oh, right. Thank you, sir. May I have another? No, I didn't mean it. Hello, Forza fans. After last week's live stream, which was a lot of fun learning these things, I took once again to the Formula Mazdas. I was pretty much looking to see if dwindling player numbers had been affecting matchmaking and the quality of featured multiplayer. So we started on pole here at the Nurburgring, and turn 1 was starting to look a little interesting. So many arrows, but everything stayed nice and clean, I'm pleased to say. We'd got ourselves a little bit of a lead here ahead of the other guys tussling. Really, my goal, because I'm starting on hard tyres, was to just try and build a lead. I had pretty good pace in qualifying to get pole in the first place, so I thought I might just be able to do enough to stay in front, even if some other guys were on medium tyres. So at the end of the first lap, you can see that I'm 0.7 and shrinking ahead of Tokovic's behind, but I do go deep into turn 1. Get back on the power, but notice that arrow is getting very, very orange indeed. He's just on my outside, so I'm not going to push all the way to the track boundary. And I can see the arrow getting more and more orange on my inside, so I just give a little space. And then I get a huge dink from behind. And that doesn't really affect me. I just assume that I've slowed down maybe a little bit too much and surprise them a little bit. But then I get an almighty crash from behind. I have got a poor network notice at the top of the screen, so I'm not sure how much that affected things, but it does seem like a pretty poor way to lose the lead, in my opinion. The murdered then turns into murderer here. Watch this. I don't really understand what happened there. They just appeared in front of me. They were to my left slightly. I gave them a tap, pulled to the inside, and then they just appeared in front of me and I hit them off the track. So, technically my fault, I guess, but I don't really want to take full responsibility for that. That doesn't feel quite right. And then I do misjudge the length of my car once again, so maybe it was my fault. Maybe I am the murderer. I was trying to rush through the field, to be fair, now that I'd not been knocked down to 5th and then now 4th. This was a nice little battle with Henry CM. As you can see, I'm struggling to get past. They're not doing anything wrong. They are a little slow into corners. I think they are overslowing slightly. Maybe just not sure of this car and track combo. I'm still not getting the better of them. And then as we get to the end of the straight in the chicane, I just back off a little bit, really. And once again, misjudge the front of my car. They get a little slide on the exit of the chicane, but no problems. I don't really do anything. Here I get the slipstream into turn 1. As you see, look, I don't commit to the move at all, but they actually go very, very deep. I tuck it in on the apex on the inside and get away. So I'm up to 3rd again. 7 seconds behind Tokovic, who took me out, and just behind Oxynotus here, who I'm catching on the straight, on the run down, well, the kinked straight, I guess, on the run down to the chicane. I tuck it in, thinking I might get a dink, but I don't. They tuck in behind me. And I sort of take the middle of the track, hoping not to be taken out. I slow down, hop over the chicane, and indeed they fall behind me in the mirrors, so no drama. Then on lap 6, as we go to start lap 7, I see the time falling though. We had still been about 6 seconds behind Tokovic, but they have taken a pit stop, which kind of surprises me really, because I think you can just about scramble to the end on mediums. But yeah, I was uncontested after that, so the hard tyres worked out for me. Tokovic in the end finished 3rd, Henry CM 2nd, but they were quite a long way behind. And thank you very much. I will take a win for this week. It has been a little while since our featured multiplayer has featured a win. Now we will move on to Barcelona, where I'm starting in 2nd to Curly Top here. We were half a second behind in qualifying. So on the run down to turn 1, I've got to be quite careful not to outbrake myself. I really don't want another murder on my hands. I go a little bit on the deep side, but it was sort of to protect myself if anybody had missed their braking point behind me. Being only half a second behind in qualifying, I thought I might be able to keep up with Curly Top. They drifted a little bit ahead of us here at the start, but it wasn't too long. It was lap 3 when I was right up behind them. I was on mediums this time after having gone for hards at the Nurburgring. So I was quite surprised to have pulled back some time over the first 3 laps. I take it round the outside here. Stay committed on the power. Their inside line was better than mine though. And then get the 100 meter braking point. They were a tiny bit late, so I think, you know what, I could try and tuck it down the inside here, but it does become the outside pretty damn quickly. And I just give a lot of space on the inside, obviously, because they are there and I don't want to turn in on them, you know, like so many people do to me. We've already pulled out a 6-second lead over third place, so this is looking like it is going to be a great battle. Curly Top runs wide. I say thank you and take that position onto the straight, but they just give me a tap as they get a better run out the final turn and actually get a better run down the straight. So no sooner had I gained that position, but look, I've lost it. They must have a lower downforce setup than me because they really did make that look easy. So just another case of getting the braking point right for me again and try and keep it close, and we will go again. However, I get close by the end of lap 4. I'm thinking this is once again going to turn into an excellent battle with 4 laps remaining. I'm 0.4 seconds behind, just trying to keep it tidy. We're 7 seconds ahead of third now, and it is important, I think, to try and preserve these tyres but also stay close and see if we can pounce. But to my surprise, Curly Top goes into the pits. So at the halfway point, I'm pretty sure they were on mediums as well, they have taken to the pits. So as we start the last lap, I'm 16 seconds ahead of second place and 18 seconds ahead of Curly Top. So even though my tyres are absolutely shot to bits, I still finish 12.8 seconds ahead and take a second win. 2 out of 2. I can't believe my luck. Curly Top did recover to second, but it was not enough. The pit stop really wasn't the right decision there, even with medium tyres going off. Imagine my surprise then, just when I'm starting to think all the best players have left me to mop up all the victories, I only qualified down in 8th for the next round here at Road America. At the start, it's important to brake at the right time. I managed to stay in 8th, in fact just hop up to 7th slightly, but it's a drag race down to turn 1. You got to brake quite late here, around about the 2 marker. I stay around the outside not to clatter into anybody, just get on the rumble strips, which can unsettle the car slightly. And now I am back into 8th, but hopefully holding position, and I've got the pace to stick with the group. As we run down to another heavy braking zone, I notice that I'm catching Thomas 800 and Richard Bell. These guys were pretty close to me in qualifying, and just got to hit the braking marker, which again is around the 2 mark, down into second because it is quite a slow corner, and then the run up the hill. This is always a dodgy braking zone because you don't really want to be overtaken or overtaken to there. I just back off and let Richard Bell stick with it. I get a collision from behind. Of course I do. That puts me out wide a little bit and I lose a position. I'm down into 9th, but I gain it back by running it wide slightly onto the grass, and that leaves me on the inside for this corner. I was sliding all over the place. I go down into second gear to try and get good drive out. This is a long corner and it's important to try and keep momentum. Amazingly, Benny Safi there goes around the outside, absolutely makes it look like I was standing still. They might be on medium tyres because I am on hards here, thinking it's going to be quite tricky to stay competitive to the end of the race on mediums without a stop. I don't really want to stop, and I don't really want to be suffering for the last 2 laps of the race either, with this being a 7-lapper. I notice there are other cars now trying to compete with me. I get a collision as I run the limits of the track on the left-hand side. I try and be careful here, and then I see that literally P2 to P8 in front of me are all grouped up. I'm suddenly thinking, well, maybe a good finish is on here. Get a great drive out the final corner. Metric gravity does not get such a good drive. I misjudged the front of my car again, but no penalty for that. And as we go on to lap 2, We've stuck with the race the whole way here because this is pretty much nose to tail stuff. I'm on the inside, just hoping not to miss my braking point. I do ease off a little bit to hopefully not hit the guys in front. And I keep my position as well. So back into 8th with people contesting for 9th and 10th behind me. I get caught out in a big way there as metric gravity glitches. Must be a bit of an internet issue, just a bit of a lag. And then once again, I misjudged the length of my car. As we come down to the next heavy braking zone, I think a space opens up where I can brake comfortably on the outside here. Look, I go close to the edge on the right. Think I've got space, brake as late as I dare, but metric gravity drifts across me and I am a murderer once again. I mean, I feel only partially culpable for that as they drifted back into the racing line, but as the car behind, it is my fault, and I suppose I should be allowing for that sort of thing. Jamie DRS gets a problem with drive out the corner. I get turned into, which is pretty much standard as you normally hear me talk about, but I'm pretty sure I kept that one clean on the inside, so I don't think that counts as a murder or any kind of unfair racing. And now we skip ahead to the end of the straight near the end of the lap. I'm dead on the inside here, but unfortunately we do go 3 wide. I get closed out on the inside. I think that was pretty fair. I was entitled to sort of put my car there because I was fully alongside, but it doesn't surprise me one bit that the gap closed down, especially with another car on the outside with it being 3 wide. So I just try and get as good a drive as possible out, and I'm now up into 7th. We're on lap 3 then. Richard Bell fighting with me once again. I go down the inside, try and keep it clean. I try and keep it tight, and I actually managed to get that move done up into 6th. I'm very, very happy with my progress so far as we hit level 50, momentous in the Formula Mazda. Then I get caught looking in my mirrors here. I thought Richard was going to go for it on the inside, so I kind of tried to take a wide line, but it tossed me out to the outside of the circuit, and I am once again back behind Richard there, so I am down into 7th now. We are still tussling towards the end of the lap. I get a great drive here to where we collided at 3 wide just 1 lap ago. I'm fully alongside, as you can see. I just try and brake as late as I dare, but while trying to be fair as well, I do anticipate maybe getting turned into. Richard doesn't turn into me, but I'm fair to anticipate that, I think, with the standard of some Forza drivers. And then we are still battling again. He gets out of shape and wide, and I go here. I'm fully side by side, if not slightly ahead. So I decide to tuck it in on the inside, and Richard gets a great drive around the outside, so still level with me. We do collide slightly, but I think he was just trying to undercut me and do the switchback. So I think he must have just clipped the back of my car because I didn't really feel much. There was nothing unfair going on there. But then I get clipped again. Notice Richard's in front of me and realise it's Benny Safi back in the action who's clipping me. So I have to give him space on the inside, which I do. Means I lose quite a bit of momentum. And now I've got PSR Sky breathing down my neck in the mirrors there as well. That comes to be on the start of lap 5 as I get out-dragged down to turn 1 by Sky. So I'm actually down into 9th. This is extremely competitive. And bearing in mind what I was looking to get out of today, I've got 2 wins with some questionable strategies from the other drivers and some questionable driving in places. Yeah, there's been quite a few contacts as there is a massive internet glitch once again there. But Benny Safi is indeed still in 7th place. An almighty send from PSR Sky gets together, but I have to ease off because there's just no way through between the 2 drivers. So anyway, back to my point. This race at Road America has proven there are still competitive drivers, there are still quick drivers, and there are still drivers willing to give you a good race in Forza. So don't be fooled by the player numbers. If you want to play this game, play it because there is plenty of featured multiplayer action for you. Right then, down in 9th. Loads of sliding ahead though. Benny Safi's tyres are off. This one is on me. I shouldn't have really stuck my nose in there because that was another 3 wide situation. I didn't really have much right to go for, but luckily no harm done. Benny Safi remains in front of me and I don't go off. So on lap 6, I'm back behind Richard Bell and I get taken for position by Christini. They go wide. I'm thinking, should I go for the move? But it's a dodgy corner to do a move in. But I do get a little bit of a run on him. And once again, misjudge the length of my car. How many times have I said that today? So on lap 7 of 7, the final bit of action, I am in 8th place now because of a pit stop that happened on lap 5 or 6. PSL Sky and Richard Bell going hard into the final corner. Sky goes for the lunge, comes in contact. They both slow to pretty much a stop. I tried to go for the best direction because I thought Sky would be on the up with their momentum. They weren't. I dink into the back of them, get the jump on Richard Bell, who has a penalty anyway, and come home in 7th place. What a fantastic race. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Take care, and I will see you soon.